So if you're interested in meditation but you haven't quite figured out how to do it and you're wondering if you're doing it properly, I would highly recommend that you consider buying one of these units in order to help you along your way. I'll provide a link below in the video description that you can click directly on if you want to purchase one of these units. Now, most people who have suffered from any symptoms related to TMJ dysfunction or clenching or grinding of teeth realize that these things are closely connected to the stress and anxiety that we feel in our daily lives and the way that that stress and anxiety is expressed through the body via muscle contraction, in particular the muscles of the head and neck. So in addition to my TMJ rehab program, which incorporates some yoga, tai chi, and physical therapy exercises along with improving range of motion and protecting jaw joint structures and muscles using some sort of stabilization or protective orthotic device, I frequently will recommend meditation to my patients. Most people, when I recommend meditation, will say something like, you know, I've tried that before and it doesn't work for me. Or they might say something like, I've tried to meditate but I just can't do it. So when we have a discussion about what meditation really is, the problem often seems to be that it's difficult to quiet down the voices or the thoughts that are constantly jabbering through your mind. Now, this is exactly what meditation is for. But the trick is setting a routine and doing something to begin to dial down your brain activity and, in so doing, your central nervous system activity. So I started dabbling in meditation about 15 years ago, and I went through several different courses and books and audio programs in order to try to learn about what it is exactly that I'm supposed to be doing when I meditate. I started with a program called the Silva Ultramind System, and I found it very interesting that Jose Silva, the founder of that system, had a background as an electrical engineer and started to notice that brainwave patterns would often entrain with beat patterns, rhythmic beat patterns, or clicking that he would hear in his workshop. Now, the story goes that what Jose Silva discovered was that rhythmic beat patterns could influence the brain waves in a way where if you dialed down the frequency of the beat pattern in the background of an audio program, a person's brain waves who was listening to that audio program would also dial down in rhythmic harmony with the beat pattern. Now, it's often said that the goal of meditation is to calm the brainwave pattern down enough so that we reach what's called an alpha state. Now, the alpha state is most simply thought of as that state of waking consciousness just before you fall asleep. If you can reach this state of consciousness, one of the side effects is relaxation of muscle tissue, slowing down of body functions like heartbeat and respiration rate, and a general calming of the whole body. Now, fast forward a couple decades and you'll come across a guy named Robert Monroe. Now, what Robert Monroe discovered was that if you have somebody wear headphones and you put a sound of a certain frequency into one ear and then you pipe a sound of a slightly different frequency into the other ear, the brain will put those two things together and create a rhythmic beat pattern, almost like trying to tune a guitar. When you get very, very close to the two strings being the exact same frequency, you'll hear a woo, 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 woo. So the closer you get, the slower the beat pattern is. It turns out the difference between the frequencies of those two sounds would indicate the frequency or the rhythm of the beat pattern. So if one sound is 246 hertz and the other sound is 256 hertz, you'll have a beat pattern that's created in the brain of 10 hertz. So Robert Monroe really innovated what are now called binaural beat audio programs. And these are widely available. You can get them almost anywhere. What I would recommend if you're interested in these things, though, is to search information that's directly from the Monroe Institute in Virginia, which is a wonderful place too if you happen to want to get a little bit more deeply involved and go visit and actually do one of their programs personally. So those two programs really helped me a lot in my path in trying to learn how to meditate, how to sit, how to breathe, and how to quiet my mind. but I still was never really sure if my mind was actually getting quiet because you don't really have any feedback. Now this is where my very favorite meditation tool comes in. Now this tool right here is called the Muse, and it's a brain sensing headband. So essentially what it's doing is when you put it on, it's sensing the brainwave patterns in your brain, and you listen to headphones to a soundtrack, which the soundtrack that came with my unit was a rainforest soundtrack. And as your brainwave patterns calm down, the rainforest quiets and the rain calms down, and sometimes if you get really good at it, little birds will start chirping in the background. So this is what the unit looks like when you put it on. It just sits right behind the ears, and it contacts your forehead right across the front. And when you download the app takes you through the whole process of getting good contact with the skin on your forehead so it can do a good job at sensing your brainwave patterns. I hope you find this as helpful as I have, and I hope this can assist you at making meditation a part of your daily routine. Thanks for tuning in. This is Dr. Jeff Dolgus, and I'll see you next time.